I gotta make moves. Come on, guys. Oh shit. Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've been enjoying the content. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about the editing software I use to make my videos and what they can change to improve the application. But before I get into this commentary, I just want to say, yes, I know ShareFactory is just standard editing software, and of course there's going to be limits to what you can accomplish using it. And if you really want to take your editing to the next level, or even just have more capability, then you're better off using more sophisticated software on a computer or laptop. Having said that, I still believe there is much ShareFactory can do to improve and make things easier and better for its users. Also, if you don't use ShareFactory and have never edited a video before in your life, there's a good chance you won't understand the majority of what I'm talking about. I will try to do my best and keep it clear and simple for you guys. So without further ado, here's how I believe PlayStation can improve ShareFactory. Alright, so the first point I want to make is enabling more than 50 clips to be added to a project. This is probably one of the most annoying things I run into when using ShareFactory, as having only 50 clips set as the limit can make it really difficult when editing lengthy or montage type videos, as you guys have seen me upload in the past. Most of the time, I'm unsure of the direction I want my montages to go in, and in order to figure that out, I need to have every clip added in so that I can shift them around the way I want them. Usually what I do is, I add all the clips I have and then trim and split them where I need so that I can add time lapses or transitions where nothing specific is happening in the video. Doing this essentially duplicates existing clips into more and more segments, depending on the project of course. Still, very quickly I hit that limit. Yes, I know the solution here is to just pre-edit a specific clip in its own project, export it and then import it into the main project. But doing this takes up so much more time, and it would be way less tedious if you could do all of this in just one main project. The second point I wanted to make is enabling the possibility of merging clips. If ShareFactory can't up the clip limit for whatever reason, then this can be a possible alternative to that. Being able to merge clips will save a ton of time not having to leave the main project, create a side one, export it, and then add it back into the main project to avoid the clip limit, as I mentioned earlier. Longer and more complex videos can be edited so much faster and easier if this became a feature. For example, let's say I wanted to split a clip X amount of times so that I could add whatever edits or cuts I wanted to each specific segment of that clip. It would cut out so much time if you could then merge those clips back into each other instead of having to edit this as a separate project and import it back into the one you're working on. This would also help with the previous point I made about finding the direction of the video if there are a large mixture of clips. Okay, moving on to the next point. Enabling the user to shorten clips or overlays to less than a second. Many times I've made videos where adding a certain overlay for as short as a second is still too long. It looked too drawn out and didn't suit the edit I was trying to go for at that time. Now I know that this is just their default minimum size for whatever reason, and I've looked into this through different forums and websites to try and find out why this is, but I couldn't find anything. Sure, shrinking the clip to less than a second can mess with transitions, but ShareFactory doesn't allow you to add a transition to a segment that is less than 2 seconds long anyways. This makes no sense. I mean, a possible solution to this could be enabling users to increase the speed of any transition to suit the length of a clip if it is less than or even just 1 second. This will open up a wider array of editing capability for users that put significant time into their projects in regards to this in particular. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to cover is being able to highlight certain clips. During the adding and sorting process of a project, quite often I find myself taking more time than I should be trying to find one specific clip amongst many others. Enabling a highlight command would immediately fix this problem, acting as a bookmark if you want to remember where a clip is or move other clips next to it. Also, in relation to this, having the name of a clip pop up when you select it is something to consider. Similar to what I just mentioned before, having this in ShareFactory would undoubtedly simplify the sorting process. Okay, point number 5. Enabling more than 10 track 2 clips to be added. I've covered this in a previous video, but this time I want to go more in depth on the matter. This commentary that you guys are listening to right now has basically been rehearsed and split into paragraphs so that I could add all of this commentary without hitting that limit. The reason I do it this way is so as not to run into the problem of over or underextending the video length. Let me explain this a bit further. If I export a video so that I can add more commentary and misjudge the length of it, then I have to go back and add more or less footage to the project to suit the length of that commentary. Having said that, I have to make sure that everything I talk about is covered in less than 10 takes, if that makes sense. This can become very tiresome, especially for me. As I've mentioned in the past, I like to keep my commentaries clean and well spoken. Increasing this limit would easily solve the tedious task of having to speak fluently for long periods of time. I don't see why ShareFactory can't just bump this number up to even 20. That would make a world of difference and eliminate that pressure. Alright, so one of the more important things I wanted to mention is where's the undo button. Now this is pretty self-explanatory, but let me just go a little bit more in depth on this. When editing videos, of course you're going to make mistakes here and there, like accidentally deleting a clip. This can be very frustrating if you spend a considerable amount of time on that segment and a simple undo command is nowhere to be found. Introducing an undo command would make things so much simpler and enable the simple correction of these commonly made mistakes. So another annoying thing I run into when using ShareFactory is not being able to lock audio clips in place so they don't shift if you trim clips before them. Basically, when adding audio to your video, whether it be music, commentary or other things, if you delete, trim or shift any segments before the starting point of that audio, it shifts and moves out of sync with where you want it to be. Now you can avoid this by making sure you add all of the audio at the end of the project, but in order to get a clear sense of direction, or if you change your mind about footage that starts before the audio begins, it would be nice if you could just lock it in place so that it doesn't shift, thus saving more time not having to go back and readjust it. Also, adding a feature that allows you to use just the audio of other clips would help a lot if you wanted to use only the audio from a small part of a specific segment without having to insert a PIP, or PIP as they're called. Alright, now heading on to overlays. More specifically, being able to slow or speed up the fades of image and text overlays. This will give the option of creating a slower or faster look to these beginning and ending animations, depending on what you want and the video itself. There's been many times where I know it would look better if I could slow down the wiping of a text, slow down the middle animation, and then even have it wipe out slowly. As well as this, enabling the merging of the middle animation with the starting and ending animation for overlay text and imagery would give a very smooth and cool look to this feature. As you can see by the text I just added, it can't wipe in and wave at the same time. This makes these animations look very low budget and unappealing to the eye. Sure, it's not that obvious, but I really pay attention to these kinds of things and I would just love to have this as an option. Okay, so another feature you can use with ShareFactory is camera effects overlays. More specifically, the focus camera effects, as you just saw then. There is quite a few more, but this is the main one I'd want updated if given the opportunity. Having the option of a zoom in animation on any part of the screen instead of just the center will give users another way to focus in on certain parts of the screen besides the instant close-up you're given via the pan and zoom feature. To add to this, having the zoom in speed separate to the pan out speed could give another element of that feature if you want it to zoom in slow and then pan out fast, and vice versa. Obviously these changes aren't necessary and I'd be content either way, but if they updated these features it would highly improve that aspect of ShareFactory. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to what ShareFactory could change to improve their app. The only other things I'd have to cover would be for them to patch annoying bugs I regularly encounter when using it. Like for instance, fixing the bug that causes ShareFactory to crash at random times. I don't know what causes this to happen, but it can be very aggravating, especially if you spent a significant amount of time on a project that you'd forgotten to save throughout. Sure, you can counter this by just remembering to save your progress every few minutes, but it can still be very annoying if you're in the zone, then the app crashes and disrupts your flow. Also, I noticed a bug that deletes overlays if there's too many and you keep entering and exiting the project. This is really annoying and can take up so much time having to go back and constantly re-add the many overlays you've already put in. Thankfully, this didn't happen during the making of this video. Oh, and trust me, this has nothing to do with me just forgetting to save the project before I leave. Believe me, it's not that. I've gone out of my way to save like 5 times before leaving and then still coming back to missing overlays throughout the video. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you didn't understand any of what I was going on about, sorry about that, and I hope at the very least the gameplay itself was entertaining enough to keep your mind occupied. Oh, and this isn't a video about me complaining or going on a rant about the negatives of ShareFactory. This application is very useful and you can still accomplish quite a lot using it. This is simply just my thoughts and suggestions on minor things that they could implement to improve the overall experience. Once again though, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment below if you want to see more videos like this, comment if you want to suggest a topic for a future video, and be sure to share this content with anyone you think might be interested. As always, hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.